What's going on, everyone? We are back, and the new season is a week away. I'm super excited. The new season looks really good. Um, I have a bunch of videos I've already written out the scripts for, some outlines I've already done, some of the thumbnails. So next week, right before the season, I'm going to be putting out some great videos, some tips videos, a really cool Atlas video on how to complete it in like a day. And I don't mean like a full day. I mean like 4 or 5 hours. You can get most of your maps done, get that out of the way. So some exciting stuff. So if you're not subscribed, get subscribed. So that'll be really cool. A lot of stuff's gonna be coming down the pipe in the next couple weeks. So I was thinking, well, since I'm gonna be putting out a lot more videos, try to get back into the swing of things. So I decided to just do a video on what I ended this league playing, and it might be something. Now there's a week left before the season actually closes. Maybe something you want to try and put together. You probably have some extra currency that you're not doing anything with. You can't really take it with you. So I wanted to talk about the second time I tried the quantity magic find Deadeye. Now, the first time I did this build, which was earlier in this league, even though I did find a mirror with it, I hated it. It was incredibly expensive. I didn't like it, but I was using Tornado Shot. And then I tried Lightning Arrow, and I like Lightning Arrow so much more. I'm assuming it's just because I have more projectile speed with this build. It goes a lot farther. It forks in between things. It hits like enemies. It'll hit one enemy and it'll hit the enemies close to them. It wasn't nearly as expensive, although I am using a Mage Blood. You do not have to use a Mage Blood. It just gives a lot of quality of life stuff that, like extra speed. It helped me cap my resistances easier. It's just simple, but you don't actually have to use Mage Blood. But for this example, that's what I will be showing you. Now, also on that note, while I'm talking about the belt, you can use a Bisco's Leash. It is this belt right here. It will give you increased quantity, rarity of items found per 15 rampage kills, and you are killing things very quickly and in bulk quantities. So you actually build this up pretty damn high as long as you're moving relatively quickly. So you can use that. You even if you don't use anything with quantity, you might just have to get something with some resists on it to try and cap your resist, depending on what else you're using. This is going to minus your fire and lightning resist. It also lowers your movement speed. Some people don't like to take this. Mine just happens to have the implicit take reduced extra damage from critical strikes. I really like that, combined with the fact we'll be using petrified blood, because you do lose damage over time instead of all at once. And I also am using a Progenesis flask. Now, the more popular and much cheaper option is using Divination Distillate. That is going to give you more quantity, more rarity, and that'll also help you cap your resist. If, and this is a big if because I'm terrible at this, and that is why I switched to Progenesis, it is a hybrid flask, which means you cannot craft something like use when charges reach full, like I crafted on my Progenesis. You cannot do that with this. So the problem is, I was forgetting to use it. So I was like, well, I might as well get tankier. And just be able to kind of zone in, kill stuff as I go, and not have to worry so much about dying. And considering I have 1,463 life, petrified blood, and with Progenesis, it's kind of broken. Like I rarely die, and if I die, it's because I'm running a rare map that has bosses extra damage or increased critical strike chance and critical strike multiplier on enemies, and then they can kill me. But even then, it's pretty rare, so it's pretty nice. So I'm not going to go one by one and go over every item. I'm going to put the POE Ninja and the POB in the description of the video if you really want to go in depth at the things I'm using. Not too crazy expensive. I think it was like 50 to 60 divines, and I probably could have done it cheaper because you can craft a lot of this stuff. It's just the end of the league. I have a lot of extra currency. I was like, I don't feel like crafting right now. I'm just going to buy it. But there are a couple variants. Using a Great Wolf with increased quantity found is good for obviously the increased quantity found. But a lot of people use Omniscience, which is the amulet that you get the Omnistats, and it lowers the enemy's resistance by quite a bit, depending on, you know, how many attributes you have. And that is super strong. And I did do that variant first, mostly because I couldn't find a good and cheap Eyes of the Great Wolf with increased quantity. And then the next day I looked and there was like 6 of them that were cheap. So I was like, okay, I'll just switch over. And I sold the Omniscience. I'll put it on the screen for you. That's what that amulet is. It is like 12 to 15 chaos, maybe even 17 chaos. Or chaos, sorry. Divine. Omniscience is like 12 to 17 divine, depending on if you get lucky and you find one on sale that someone wants to just get rid of. Now, that is hard to do sometimes because you have to hit the attribute requirements. And I'm sure there's videos on how Omniscience works, but just know you have to get a lot of plus attributes on some stuff to hit the requirements for certain things, like the 179 dex on my bow. There was another gem, I don't remember what it was, but it was hard to hit the strength for that. But it doesn't matter. You know, Omniscience is a little bit more complicated, but all you need to know is you will have to focus more on attributes for your stuff. So you might not be able to get away with the next variation, and that is Calm's Spirit Titan Gauntlets. People like this because you get the rage. And I am using Berserk. I have it on this 6 link here. But I got it on my gloves. Just gain 1 rage on it. Hit with attacks. No more than once every 1.2 seconds. You can actually get that a little lower. You can get that down to, I think, 1 second. But this works fine for building rage. I need the attributes from these. And also the projectiles pierce an additional target is good. But this is another variant. Some people like Calm's Spirit Gauntlets. Alright, so I have, with the current gear that I'm using, I have increased quantity 6-7%, rarity of items dropped by slain monsters 225. Rarity self-explanatory, more uniques, more rares, and the quantity is enemies drop more quantity of items. Better chance to get good stuff because they are dropping more stuff. You're basically just rolling the dice more times and more often. So what can you run with this? Well, you can pretty much run anything. I know everyone's like immediately strong boxes, strong boxes, strong boxes, and yes, that is true. If you really want to make the big money, you can juice the maps and then run maps like Cemetery, where it can drop, you know, a Brother's Gift and a Brother's Stash card, or Defiled Cathedral, or Crimson Temple, and try and get an Apothecary card, stuff like that. So you can do that, but there is other stuff that it works with. Anything that gets an advantage from quantity, Harvest, for example, is really good. And ignore this tree. This tree is not technically what you should be running. This is a tree for completing the Atlas and map sustain, and that is for a video that I am going to be putting out next week sometime, right before the new league starts. So ignore this. This is me just going over what you would take if you really wanted to juice maps and do stuff, but I don't think you have to. I don't think people get scared away thinking, oh, you have to juice, you have to get sextants, you have to get scarabs. No, you don't. This is still fun to play if you're not juicing your maps. I do suggest maybe taking, you know, the strongbox nodes. Remember, you click on this, you can see where they are. There's some up here, there's some up here. The one where, and I have Wandering Path on for that video, so can't read them, but Divination cards, strongbox, your maps are duplicated, that's really good. You know, some of these are really good. And then this season it was really good because Ambush was on here. So you would get 4 additional strong boxes, you know, off the jump just for the 4 chaos. And that was worth it. So you can fully juice like that. And near the end I'll show you the 2 different ways, or at least that way of mapping, because there is a slight strategy for it. But you don't really have to do that. This build is fun to just play in general. And while we're on it, the other good thing about this build is the only thing I cannot do so far that I've found is Reflect Elemental. I'm pretty sure I can do Reflect Physical. I'm 90% sure I can do that, but Reflect Elemental, no. I die immediately. Which means you can run unidentified maps, which give you, I believe, 30% quant bonus just for them being unidentified. Unless they changed that, but I don't think they did. So when I'm running Marshes and Cemetery, again, I'm running Cemetery because I can drop the Brother's Gift, Brother's Stash cards, better chance of that. I am sustaining by ping-ponging between marshes and cemetery. And since I already have the atlas for map drops to be duplicated and a chance to drop an additional connected map, I get a ton of them. In fact, I get more than enough. I filled up my cemetery tab just running like 25, 30 marshes, and then I had more than I knew what to do with. I just don't feel like buying them on TFT, especially it's late in the league. I just kind of want to have fun and map, but this will still be a build unless they do something severely drastic to maybe Lightning Arrow, or something else. This is going to be a build next league too, so it doesn't matter when you're watching this. It's basically still going to be a build. There might be minor changes, and who knows, maybe something with the league mechanic makes it even more viable or less viable. Looking at the new league mechanic, since you are fighting in this kind of team tactics thing, this might be the perfect build for that because you are killing stuff very far away. And I'll show you a little bit of that. Another thing is I had to turn my loot filter to very strict because I could not see anything because the stuff was happening, or stuff was dropping at such a high rate that I was actually getting killed. Every time I'd hit alt, I wouldn't see a monster attacking me. So you see it's pretty empty right now because of my loot filter, but if I hold alt, there is a lot of stuff on the ground. Okay, you are going to find a ton of stuff. So having a loot filter, I have videos on that in the tips and tricks video, but filter blade, you download it, set your settings for it. If you want it strict or very strict, you download it, and then you can literally on their site link it to your POE account, and then it will be in options, game, right here. See, I have it named super strict. My loot filters are all right in here, so you can do that. If I turn it to none, yeah, you can see this gets out of hand really quick, and it's super annoying. So I had to change that to super strict. Now, if you're doing the juicing strategy, what you would want to do is pick, either the blue or red influence. Run around, find the boss, so you get rid of them out of the map. There's tons of strategies on this. I'm not going to go in depth with it. Kill the boss first, run around, kill as much as you can, and try and get the quantity rewards from the altars. I might have put Maven on this. That might be why I'm not getting any altars. I'm not sure. And then you would go back after you got your quantity as high as possible and open the strong boxes if you're running the strong boxes. Okay, not too complicated. I always put a TP down right here because he can kill me sometimes. And right now, see, there's a mod on here that made him extra tanky, but still not too bad. See, I got 2 Marshes maps from that because of the connected map thing and also the map duplication. Okay, so that's why this build is really fun. There isn't a whole lot of drawbacks to this, unless maybe you like seeing yourself kill stuff, because you're killing stuff so far off the damn screen. Like, I will kill something, hear like something drop, and look how far away that is. Like, that is way over here. And that actually wasn't even that far. Usually it actually go a little bit farther than that, but most stuff dies before it gets on screen. Oh, I do have altars. So see, you would want to get all of these, increase quantity, and just juice up your quantity before you open the strong boxes. That's how people juice this. But some things like that are also very good with this are Harvest, Legion. Harvest, obviously, you get more life force with quantity. Again, you would probably want to go around and get all the altars for the quantity stuff before you went into the Harvest and into that. Legion is another good one. Harbinger might be fine, but I don't like Harbinger. Some people would die by it. Like, oh, I get fracturing orbs like crazy and all this stuff. It never has worked out for me. Not really my thing. So yeah, you could pretty much do anything with this build, and I do highly recommend it because I think Lightning Arrow is a lot more fun than Tornado Shot, and I can't completely put my finger on it, but like I said earlier, I think it might be because of the fact that my Lightning Arrow goes farther. I don't know if I didn't have enough projectile speed, because the way projectile speed works, the higher the projectile speed, the farther it will go before it dissipates, which is good. And also I have Vengeant Cascade on my amulet, which you should too. which also increases projectile speed, but it makes them return to you, which is very nice, and they even go behind you. So it hits people on the way back. In fact, it pierces everything on the way back. So if something doesn't die in a hit or two and is starting to run at you, they'll get hit by some of the returning projectiles. It kind of saves your ass a whole bunch of times. Alright everyone, so that was just kind of a rundown of what I have been playing the last couple of weeks. I know it was scatterbrained, I know it was not organized, but I had the day off today. I was like, let's do a video, get kind of back in the swing of things, get kind of better at this as I'm going forward making POE content. So if you like the content, please like and subscribe, and please go over and follow on Twitch. We have a group that is not that big over on Twitch. Everyone is super helpful, especially if you're a newer player. Get in there, follow before the new season starts. We're all going to be in there hanging out. I answer questions. If I don't know the answer, usually someone in the chat knows the answer. We're just a great community of people that are really helping each other. That's really why I'm starting to make, I'm really enjoying making these videos, is because I'm getting a nice group of friends to play the game with, bounce ideas off of, get to find out, how their POE day's going, how their real day's going, all that kind of stuff. So get followed. But yes, there will be a bunch of videos next week. I already got a bunch of the thumbnails done. Here's a little preview. Going to be doing a new league one, complete your atlas. What build to league start? Spoiler alert. I don't know if I'm going to know when I do this video, but I have no idea what I'm going to league start, and it kind of sucks. So yeah, so stay tuned. A lot of cool stuff coming out. I am going to make this trade, and I will see you guys later.